The Lord is our shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh I lie down in the green pastures. Him leadeth I beside still water them. Him restoreth I soul. Him leadeth I to the path of righteousness for him name's sake. Yea! Though I rasta, I go walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I can't fear no evil. For thy rod and thy staff them comforted I and I. When you prepare the table before right in the presence of our enemy them. When you anointed I head with no oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy. I go follow I all the days of I Ivan. I go dwell in the house of the Lord God. Ja, kadama we grumabi tela exag beer tanaistalina bashante shante kadama we grumabi tela where 2 centuries meet in the name of the Most High Jah, and that's so Jaja de. If Jaja never build up your house, the builder I go build it in vain. Same way, if Jaja never watch upon your house, the watchman I go watch it in vain. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous run into it and them is safe. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but Jah shall deliver him from all of them. And I give thanks and I say unto your name, King of Kings and Lord of Lords, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. Amasa Yahuda, Amasa, Nagusto, Daniel Ama, Koma ya Sataya. Aimana pio aya. Karma we grumabiate la e. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushodemo, where we speak truth to power. And my name, Black Rasta. In every traditional African home there is a black pot, and each time this black pot sits on the fire, there is something super sumptuous cooking. Ingredients of so many different types, shapes, sizes, and aromas. Leave all their differences aside and relocate into the black pot where they are subjected to some amount of heating. Oh yes, and then they produce what is known as food. And this food, my brother, my sister, goes to the benefit of the eaters, us. Never to the benefit of the black pot, nor the ingredients. Yet every time they would always come together to make sure that that collaborative effort will produce food. Now the black pot is so symbolical of the African continent. Same way, the ingredients represent us as a people. We must always collaborate so we can give unto the next generation and to ourselves what is known as development. We must be that tree planting generation. Yes, we know we might not live long enough to benefit from the shade of the full-grown tree. But does it really matter? Generations to come will benefit from that. After all, we also came to meet trees that were planted by so many different people who we call our ancestors, yet most of them never lived long enough to benefit from the shades of these trees. We must be that Joshua generation. Yes, the generation of the youth seriously engaged in positive activities. This is the Black Pot, and we are live on Pan-African TV. We are also live on Loud Silence TV, super live on Black Empire TV. And remember, via the power of satellite, we are seen all over the world. That's why your business will do so well here. Pick up our numbers scrolling on your screen and do business with us. We are ready to advertise your business. Let's do business. Let's end together. Let's grow Africa together. We are also on YouTube, and our YouTube channel is Black Empire Media. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the notification button. We are excited to have you as a family member. This is the Black Pot, and here we don't talk politics. We only talk patriotism. We are rewiring the mindset of our people. The biggest problem of Africa is never the problem of schools and hospitals and roads. It's the problem of the mindset. Once the mindset is righted, every single thing will be righted. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushunamo. And here, we speak truth to power. And today, we have 4 very important issues to look at. And I need you to come along. Number 1, and watch it unroll on your screens. Number 1 again. Number 1. Nana Appiah Mensah is known as Nam 1. He prefers to be called Nam, but so many people call him Nam 1. He's a young man. He started a serious business in Ghana here. A brilliant young man. Made a lot of money and lost a lot of money. We all remember the story of Men's Gold. We all remember how Nam 1 became the talk of town. In fact, when he started Men's Gold, almost all the banks in Ghana were brought to their knees. A very creative young man. Ghanaians were so comfortable doing business with Nana Appiah Mensah, a.k.a. Nam 1. And at a time when we all believed that the business had become solidly enshrined in our minds and in our activities, it came crashing down. Men's Gold fell flat. Nana Appiah Mensah spent a lot of money encouraging other young people to come up. In fact, Nana Appiah Mensah also did so much for the creative industry. He signed on a number of musicians and artists, and he also spent money pushing the craft of musicians in this country. He opened up a radio station known as Xylophone and a TV station, same name, Xylophone TV. Xylophone Radio, Xylophone TV. Oh my God. He spent money opening up a whole recording studio where he signed artists. But, as has been said, everything that has a beginning would attempt an ending. I do not want to call this the end of Nam 1, but I want to call it the forced stop of Nam 1. Now, Nam 1 was doing so well. All of a sudden, he crashed. He was arrested in Dubai, locked up in the jailhouse there in Dubai. And then he was released. Then we heard stories that he had made so much money from some court proceedings in Dubai. And he came back to Ghana. He used to fly his own private jet. We don't know the whereabouts of the private jet. In fact, sometimes when he was even on the roads, he would be throwing money away like pepper, throwing it to people, and they'll be running around coming to pick up the money. He was a man who was so zealous. A man who wanted to see things change in just a twinkle of an eye. He didn't know that there were people lurking in the shadows, ready to go toe to toe with him, with whatever endeavor he was involved in. Remember, they say that if you are for peace, prepare for war. Nam 1, why did his business collapse? Who collapsed his business? Where is Nam 1 right now? Well, it will shock you to know that Nam 1 has been to court several times on this issue of his collapsed business. Look at this from Ghana Web. Nam 1 makes 33rd appearance in court without trial. Case adjourned to April 25. Wow. He's been to court 33 times. Why is he in court? What is happening to Nam 1? Are we going to have a final judgment on April 25? All the details are here. Come along, let's look at it. Watch this. And Battle Chief Executive Officer, CEO of Men's Gold Ghana Limited, Nana Appiah Mensah, has made his 33rd appearance in court on Thursday, March 23. How many years? 3 years and 8 months since he was first arraigned on July 12th. 2019. Nana Appiah Mensah, popularly known as Nam 1, was initially charged with 13 counts, but that had since been amended with his plea yet to be taken on the amended charge sheet filed on September 3rd, 2019, which introduced some 61 new charges. So in all, how many? 74 charges. In court on Thursday, March 2023, when Nam 1 made his 33rd appearance, the case was again adjourned and the trial yet to commence. Wow. Before a relieving judge, Her Honor Efia Owusu appear, prosecution represented by ASP Emmanuel Halligan, who was holding Superintendent Sylvester Asari's brief, told the court that the prosecution is still awaiting the advice from the Attorney General's office for the next line of action. He therefore prayed for an adjournment, and after consulting his diaries together with lawyer Audrey Chum, who was holding lawyer Kwame Boafu's brief, agreed with the court and settled on April 25, 2023. According to EIB Network's legal affairs correspondent, Mutala Inusa, Nam1 made his 30th, 31st, and 32nd appearances on November 9, December 14, both in 2022 and January 2, 2023, respectively. From July 12, 2019, the CEO of the gold dealership firm has trekked courts at least 29 times by September 27, 2022. EIB Network's Mutala Inusa, who compiled the number of times Nam1 had appeared in court since July 2, 2019, said the businessman would make at least his 34th appearance on April 25, 2023. Previous appearances. In 2019, Nam1 made 6 appearances at the Circuit Court in Accra, while in 2020 he appeared in court 8 times. He then made further 9 appearances in 2021 and 5 times in 2022. In 2019, the CEO of Men's Gold appeared in court on July 12th, his very first one, and made subsequent appearances on August 6th, September 3rd, October 23rd, November 20th, and December 23. For 2020, the CEO of Men's Gold made appearances on January 21, March 6, June 24, July 30, September 7, October 1, November 4, and December 16. In 2021, Nam1 made 9 appearances on January 20, March 2, April 1, May 27, July 6, September 2, October 11, November 22, and December 21. In 2022, the embattled CEO of Men's Gold was in court 5 times on February 21, April 4, May 16, July 15, and August 16, with the next court hearing fixed for September 27. Meanwhile, he has also made court appearances in a Dubai court. Remember, we were telling you about that earlier. In a Dubai court. Meanwhile, he also made court appearances in a Dubai court prior to his return to Ghana following the collapse of Men's Gold. On August 17, 2019, the embattled Nam1 was released from police custody after meeting his varied bail conditions. Nam1, together with his wife, Rose Tete, and his sister, Benedicta Appiah, both at large, were facing a total of 13 counts of defrauding by false pretenses, money laundering, abetment, and carrying on deposit-taking businesses without license. 2 of his companies, Men's Gold Ghana Limited and Brew Marketing Consult Limited, have also been charged with 7 counts of defrauding by false pretenses and carrying on deposit-taking business without license. On July 26, 2019, Nam1 pleaded not guilty to all the charges, and the court, presided over by Jane Harriet Akwele-Kwei, granted him bail to the tune of 1 billion. That's about 185 million American dollars. With 5 shorties, 3 of which are to be justified. Additionally, he was ordered by the court to report to the police every Wednesday. But the condition that required him to ensure 3 of his sureties provide justification was removed when he could not meet his initial bail terms. Charges. The initial counts preferred were defrauding by false pretenses, abetment to defraud by false pretenses, carrying a deposit business without license, abetment of sale of minerals without license, sale of minerals without license, abetment of unlawful deposit taking, and money laundering. Brief facts. The brief facts of the case as presented to the court by then SP Asari, now Superintendent Sylvester Asari, were that in October 2018, the police received a complaint from about 16,000 people that Men's Gold had convinced them to invest 1.68 million Ghana cedis in a gold purchase scheme that yielded 10% monthly interest. ASP Asari told the court that the complainants said their money was locked up and they could not find Mensah and the other principal officers of the company. He said investigations revealed that Men's Gold and Brew Marketing Consult were incorporated as limited liability companies in 2013 and 2016 respectively. DSP Asari now said Men's Gold obtained a license from the Minerals Commission in August 2016 to purchase and export gold from small-scale miners, and that in order to successfully engage in the business, Nana Appiah founded Brew Marketing Consult to be a gold buying agent. DSP Asari said although Men's Gold has license to purchase gold, it was not licensed by the Minerals Commission to trade in gold. Notwithstanding the lack of such a license, he said Men's Gold went public after its incorporation and invited the public to deposit money for a fixed period with interest on the pretext of gold purchasing. He said further investigations revealed that the three accused persons were the directors and principal officers of Men's Gold and Brew Marketing Consult. Come here. So this is the story. This is a Men's Gold story. Long and short of it all, Nana Appiah Mensah was dealing in gold. According to the story, he was not supposed to be taking deposits, but he went ahead to take deposits. But what Namwan was actually doing was selling and marketing gold collectibles. Of course, he also sold gold, as he was licensed to do. Gold collectibles. You would come and buy gold collectibles, maybe to give as gifts to people. And he will tell you, we can market this for you. If you give us this, we can market this, and within a month, you will get this amount of interest. And people were interested in that. Namwan argued that he was not taking deposits. What he was doing was that he was marketing people's gold collectibles that they had bought from him. Such a smart idea. Do you understand? We are not saying bring your deposit so that when we sell our gold, we will pay you back some money. No, you come to us and buy the gold coin. Now, when you buy the gold coin from us, you take it into your hand. And then we ask you if you want us to market it for you so you make more money. And if you say yes, so we take the gold collectible. We are not taking your deposit. It's your gold collectible. Do you get it? That was what Namwan was doing. But the nation read it as, oh, it's another way of taking deposits. And he was not mandated by law to do that. In fact, the former Attorney General decided to sit with Namwan to work with this issue in the days of Mahama. They wanted to sort things out, give him the right licenses. They saw the problem with the business that he was doing. But a lot of it, according to the then Attorney General, deputy, was done out of ignorance. So they were trying to regularize things, and then they got out of office. This new government came in led by Nana Akufo-Addo. They had no patience to sit with anybody to streamline anything. Stop going to Namwan to do business. People rushed in there for panic withdrawals. It collapsed Namwan's business. And Namwan has since not recovered. In fact, he was even arrested in Dubai. He was in a Dubai jail for a long time before he went to court and won a case in which he was supposed to be paid so much amount of money. We all remember he was supposed to be paid about 64 million American dollars. And we were told that he had won his case. Where is that money? That money was enough to pay all the debts that he owed Men's Gold customers. But what happened to that money? What happened to Namwan's private jet? Now they went to court and were told that Namwan's property they had to sell. What happened to that? I don't get it. Now the last time I heard about this case, it was that They couldn't get enough evidence to prosecute Nam1. So what is happening? Why is he in court? And going over and over. This is the 33rd time. If you don't have enough evidence, why are you keeping him in there? Yet men's gold customers are still demonstrating. They cannot understand why the government is saying that, oh, we do not have enough evidence to prosecute a man who has robbed us of our money. A lot of men's gold customers do not also see it like that. They see it as a political interference that came in to destroy the business of the young man. Before the politicians came in to stop him, the business was moving on smoothly. Everybody was being paid what was due them, and there was absolutely no problem. But panic withdrawals collapsed the company, and he had Nam1 locked up. Today, my brother, my sister, the nation is suffering the same fate as Nam1. This nation, my brother, my sister, is gone totally broke after collapsing so many banks. This nation, led by Nana Akufo-Addo, is so broke that pensioners whose money is locked up with the government, they couldn't pay. And they are telling them, we will pay you next year. We'll pay you in 5 years. We'll pay you in 10 years. Pensioners who depend on that money for their drugs and their retirement. This was what they told them. How different is this from Nam1? Finally, they are running to the IMF. They are looking for money to be able to ameliorate all the bad things and the bad judgments their government has been riddled with. My brother, my sister, Nam1 is still here. How is this case going to go? Is Nam1 guilty? Or will the Attorney General still hold on to his guns and say they don't have enough evidence to prosecute Nam1? Should he keep going to court? How many more times? Should he go 1 billion times before they realize that they probably have no case? What happens to men's gold workers? What happened to men's gold customers? And all the other people who worked there and had to fall apart, all because the company collapsed. Did we think about all this? Could there have been another way to deal with this men's gold issue without collapsing it? Well, right now we are looking for solutions. I pray that the court will be able to find this solution, and I pray that Nam1 would be on his feet again and do his business. My biggest prayer is that men's gold customers would all be paid. A lot have died out of shock, but to God be the glory. Whatever will be, will be. Que sera, sera. This is the Blakk Pot, a.k.a. Kukushodemo, where we speak truth to power. Next story. Now the next story coming up says, U.S., Canada, fed up with asylum seekers. Come here. Watch it. U.S., Canada, fed up with asylum seekers. Hey, America and Canada, they are tired. People are coming in there, they want to seek asylum. And this is from the BBC. What is BBC saying? U.S. and Canada reach deal to reject asylum seekers. Come here. Leave it. U.S. and Canada reach deal to reject asylum seekers. And this is BBC News, New York, 24th March, that's Friday, 2023. Run the story. The U.S. and Canada have reached a deal to reject asylum seekers at unofficial border crossings. Officials say large numbers of migrants have been making unsanctioned crossings on Roxham Road at the U.S.-Canada border. The move closes a loophole created by a 2004 asylum agreement with the U.S. on where migrants have to make their asylum claims. It allowed Canada to turn migrants away at official points of entry, but not at unofficial crossing points. Come here. Wow. Did you hear that? As part of the deal, Canada will now also create a new refugee program for 15,000 migrants fleeing persecution and violence in South and Central America. Unnamed U.S. officials told CBS News, the BBC's U.S. partner. Mr. Biden is in Ottawa, Canada, for 24 hours to talk about a series of economic, trade, and immigration issues with Mr. Trudeau. He is scheduled to address Parliament on Friday before he and Mr. Trudeau hold a joint news conference. Security is heavy in Canada's national capital for the presidential working visit. Police cruisers and officers can be seen circling the area around the Parliament, and nearby streets have been closed to the public. American flags are flying along Wellington, the street that runs in front of the Parliament buildings. The migration accord is scheduled to be announced before Mr. Biden returns to the U.S. on Friday evening. The agreement is scheduled to allow officials on both sides of the border to turn back such asylum seekers heading in their direction. The U.S. side has also seen a rise in migrant crossings into Canada. The move is part of efforts to limit an influx of migrants at Roxham Road, an unofficial crossing between New York State and the province of Quebec. Interesting. Now the deal is an amendment to the two sides 2004 Safe Third Country Amendment, STCA, which requires migrants to make an asylum claim in the first safe country they reach, whether it is US or Canada. Dash it away and come here. Now hear me. Hear me. America is tired of asylum seekers. Canada is tired of asylum seekers. I'm sure, especially those from Africa. I've been to America. I've been to Canada. Two beautiful countries. Now the truth is this. America is thriving because of slavery. America had a lot of slaves, free men enslaved to work on the plantations in America and also to build America. So America has the responsibility to open its gates to Africans and black people anytime. The people who built America are the Africans. The people who built England are the black people. But these are the people who most of the time are dehumanized anytime they travel. Africans are running away from Africa voluntarily, all because of wars in Africa, bad leadership in Africa, hunger, famine. Every time there is bad news in the Western media, it's Africa. There's nowhere you hear bad news without hearing about Africa. Women and children leave Africa by road and they go all the way to America. They cross illegally into America, into Canada. Some swim the ocean in order to cross from Canada to America. America and Canada now say that they need a collaborative effort to catch all those people in a net and throw them back where they are coming from. And now it looks like they are going to have a quota. Okay, we will accept this number of people coming in. My brother, my sister, why did I decide to talk about this? Much as America and all those other countries have the moral responsibility of opening their doors to the kings and queens they enslaved and brought them over to build their land and gave them all their skills and expertise, depriving Africa of some huge development. African leaders must not play the game so dumb. For how long are you going to continue your tribal wars? For how long are you going to continue fighting each other? For how long are you going to continue slaughtering each other? For how long are you going to continue to be silly and stupid? Look all over Africa. Which country is actually safe? You go to South Africa, Zulus are slaughtering and killing fellow black Africans because they are taking their food, in quotes. They say they are not against migrants or emigrants. They are actually against undocumented immigrants. And you know how they vent their spleen? They slaughter them and kill them. Sometimes they burn them alive. Fellow Africans. Xenophobia, Afrophobia. Go to Zimbabwe. It's embroidered in a lot of political brouhaha. Nigeria, corruption, wickedness. Ghana, political incorrectitude. All over Africa, it looks like there's a leadership crisis. There's no leader who wants to think like a human being. A lot of the leaders are thinking about themselves. They don't think about the people. Let one chicken from America die in Ghana. The whole America will descend on Ghana for explanation as to why that chicken died right here in Ghana. Let 10,000 Africans, Nigerians, Togolese, Ghanaians die in America. We will sit here and say, to God we came from and to God we shall go. May they rest in peace. Africans are fighting fellow Africans. And on the streets of America, black people are gunned down. Black lives matter. We see all over the place. Some other people say white lives matter. Yet the most oppressed people on earth are black people. America is tired. America says, hey, we've taken too much of you guys. But they've all of a sudden forgotten that we built the America. They are trying to say they are tired of having us in. But leave America out. Leave Canada out. Let us build Africa again. For how long can we continue to stay aside and say that we have given up? Yet the leaders always tell us lies that they can build. And once we give them the power, we see that they are true liars. Where are the true leaders of Africa? Are you not ashamed that your citizens are running out of your countries every now and then because of your bad leadership? Do you have any conscience at all? If I were a leader in Africa, I will be so ashamed to even see one member or citizen of my country leave because of persecution or leave because of bad leadership. Go to South Africa. Out of every 10 South Africans, it's only one person who has a passport. They are satisfied with their country. They are okay. Today, they can walk from South Africa to America. They will open the doors for them to enter. After all, what is in America that's not in South Africa? But we continue to be at the bottom of the mountain. It hurts me. I don't blame America. I don't blame Canada. I blame our African leaders. You are so dumb. You are bad demonic leaders. Posterity will judge you so harshly for being liars and so egotistical. You have let Africa down. Where are the Sankaras? Those people who will stand firm and make sure that our nations develop and that they will have nothing to do with the IMF or the World Bank. We shall have our own IMF and the World Bank in our countries, grow our own food and eat our own food. To God be the glory. This is the Black Pot, a.k.a. Kukushunomo. When we return, we have more for you. Hey! Wayo!
One skipper charge.
Blackpot. Coco show man.
This is the Black Pot, aka Coco Show, and here we speak truth to power. Come here. Remember, we are live on Pan-African TV, Africa's only Pan-African TV, also live on Loud Silence TV. Pick up our numbers scrolling on your screens right now and do business with us. We are happy to advertise your business. Yes. And of course, via the power of satellite, we are seen all over the continent of Africa and the whole world. We are number one when it comes to Pan-Africanism on TV. And we are also on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is Black Empire Media. Do us a favor. Subscribe to that YouTube page and click on the notification button so you will not miss any of the stories we have for you. Every day, Monday to Friday, we unleash hot African stories, hot stories that define us. And then we bring out our opinions. Our aim is to change the mindset of our people. We speak truth to power. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushonomo, where we speak truth to power. And my name, Blakk RASTA. Next. Watch it. It says what? Racism in Tunisia as Ivory Coast cries. How many of us remember that a couple of weeks ago in Tunisia, the Tunisian president, or is he a prime minister or head of state, a racist like that, came out and shamelessly told the whole world that there is an agenda to change the demography of Tunisia. In other words, there is an attempt to change Tunisia into a black nation. Therefore, people are migrating from all over Black Africa and coming into Tunisia. But they will not allow that. Can you believe this? So Tunisians went on the streets looking for Black Africans to visit with harm. We were beaten on the streets, kicked around, and many countries are now flying to Tunisia and bringing home their citizens. Ghana hasn't done that yet. But it looks like the Ivory Coast has done it. Come here. Watch the story. Ivory Coast repatriates hundreds more after Tunisian racism row. Almost 300 Ivorians were repatriated on Thursday from Tunisia, where migrants say they no longer feel safe after President Kais Saied had said they represented a demographic threat. The ambassador of Ivory Coast in Tunis, Ibrahim Sai Savani, said 287 people, including 21 toddlers, were flown back to Abidjan on a jumbo jet chartered from Ethiopian Airlines. With the latest departures, a total of 1,053 Ivorians have been repatriated from Tunisia since chartered flights began in early March, Savani told AFP. Saied, on February 21, accused immigrants from sub-Saharan Africa of causing a wave of violence and crime, saying they aimed to change the demographic composition of Tunisia and separate it from the Islamic and Arab worlds. My God. Let me take time and explain this. All he was trying to say, Black people are coming into this country so much. We belong more to the Arabs and we belong more to the Islamic faith. By coming here, they are trying to find a way to inundate us so that they will take our country out of the Arab world and make it a black world. They don't see themselves as Africans. They belong more to the Arabs and to the Europeans. That's all he's saying. Tunisia, a North African country of 12 million people, hosts an estimated 21,000 migrants from other parts of Africa, representing only 0.2% of the population. Not even 1%. 0.2. In the days after Salih's speech, migrants had reported an upsurge in racist attacks, and many were evicted into the streets by landlords, fearing large fines or prison for housing them. Those who worked informally in construction and other sectors also lost their jobs, and thousands rushed to their embassies to be repatriated. Just under 3,000 Ivorians have registered with the embassy for repatriation, Savani said. Ivorians are able to enter Tunisia without a visa, and roughly 7,000 live there, the country's largest sub-Saharan African community. But when you have Ghana, you need a visa. Nigeria, you need a visa. Ivory Coast, no visa. So there are more Ivorians in that country than any other African nation. While some migrants come to study, many use Tunisia as a springboard for attempts to reach Europe by sea. European governments have pressured Tunis to rein in the flow. Parts of Tunisia's coastline are within 150 kilometers, that's 90 miles, of the Italian island of Lampedusa. We don't want to hear that name, Lampedusa. We all know how many Africans died in their attempt to reach Europe through Lampedusa. At least. How many deadly shipwrecks? 3 deadly shipwrecks of boats carrying migrants, including many Ivorians, have been recorded off Tunisia since early March. To God be the glory. That's it away and come. Come here. So you see, in the past we were forced on ships to go to Europe and America. Today, we are struggling to reach there, and they are even shooting and killing us. Listen to the hate speech from a president. A country of how many million people? Ghana is a country of 36 million people, approximately. Tunisia is a country of how many million? What is the percentage of black people in that country? My brother, my sister, watch this. Tunisia, a North African country of only 12 million people. Ghana is 3 times the population of Tunisia. And what is the population of black people in there? Watch it. 0.2%. And they are crying that black people are too much. They are trying to force a demographic change. They are trying to rewrite the history of the country, taking them out of the Arab world and bringing them to Africa. Such a man should not be president. But walk on the streets of Nigeria. How many Tunisians are there? Walk on the streets of Ghana. How many Tunisians are there? Remember during the World Cup, we had Morocco also saying some of these things. Our victory is for the Arab world, is for Muslims. Africa never mentioned. They don't see themselves as Africans. So if you don't see yourself as African, can you relocate outside Africa and go to where you claim you belong? It's a shame. So where is that African unity? Europeans all belong to a certain EU. They are people of different European descents. Yet, nobody would ever say that, oh, French people are coming into this country, they are trying to change the demographics. Why are we so backward? 12 million people. It's almost like Rwanda. Today they are carrying repatriated asylum seekers from England and sending them to Rwanda. Oh, Africa. It looks like we have a long way, right? But we shall get there. This is the Blakk Pot. Hey! Wayo!
Go on, Skipper George.
Blackpot, Coco Shoulder, man.
This is the Black Pot, aka Coco Shoulder, and my name Blakk RASTA. Remember, come here. Remember, we are on YouTube, and our YouTube channel is called the Black Empire Media. Please subscribe to that YouTube channel and click on the notification button. We have a new page too, and it's called the African History Class, where we unleash only African history. It's rich and powerful. Please make sure that you subscribe to that one too. In the interim, my name Blakk RASTA. This is the African History Class. Next story. Watch it. ECG cracks hard whip again. ECG cracks hard whip. Wow. Again. Bring the story. This is ECG, Electricity Company of Ghana. They are in charge of our electricity right here in Ghana. They work hard. Some years gone by, we suffered from doomso, erratic power supply. But it looks like we have almost come out of the woods. It's west in Nigeria, NEPA. Generators all over the place. Yet this is a powerful country that has all the oil. Sometimes I look at Africa and I'm shocked. The sun is burning down on Nigerians, and you cannot get solar energy from the sun to power your homes and all that. Is it that difficult to get? Anyway, ECG cracks hard whip again. For some time now, ECG has been going around. Ghanaians use electricity without paying, including the Parliament House of Ghana. They owe 13 million Ghana cedis. One of our airports, known as the whole airport, owed a lot of money. They had to go and close it down. When they went to close down the Parliament House, they paid 8 million Ghana cedis. More than half. So the ECG people stepped back. 2 days ago, the citizens, the natives, the residents were all running to electricity to pay their bills for fear that they will be disconnected. I don't know what kind of irresponsible life this is. That you would use electricity and you don't pay. Are you crazy? If you know that you can't pay, don't use it. How can you go to the market to buy food, eat without paying? It's the same thing you are doing. The electricity has been subsidized so that a lot of people can afford. While some people are using prepaid meters. In other words, you would use what you have bought already. Some others are doing illegal connection and the rest. ECG rejects 4 million payments. Disconnects Star Steel Company. Over 10 million debt. And this is from City News. The Electricity Company of Ghana, the National Tax Force, has rejected 4 million part payment offered by Star Steel Company at Pram Pram. ECG insisted on full payment or at least a 50% settlement to avoid disconnection of any customer that owes. According to the power distributor, most of their targeted customers have deliberately refused to pay their bills despite consuming power for over 4 months. While the task force visited the Star Steel, when the task force visited the Star Steel Company, the manager was willing to settle its 10 million debt, but pleaded to pay 4 million instantly and 6 million the following day. This was vehemently declined by the task force, which subsequently moved to disconnect the factory from the national grid. The company had no option but to switch to a secondary power source in order to continue its production. Earlier, the task force disconnected Fabrimental Company over 28 million debt. Over a 28 million. Why? Are you crazy? You owe so much money and you are not paying. What is the arrangement you have with electricity? Today, if your factory collapses, you have stolen our 28 million Ghana cedis. The Ghanaian taxpayer will suffer. Vaccines in the hospitals. Tamale Hospital is in crisis. What's wrong with you? You make the money, yet you don't want to be responsible. The Electricity Company of Ghana has noted that it won't spare any private company, state institutions, or residential properties that have failed to pay bills. According to the manager of external communications, Leila Abubakari, ECG owes its power producers over $5 billion. A situation that puts the company in an uncomfortable position not to go after its debtors. Can you believe this? ECG itself owes $5 billion. So they are forced to go out and get their money. That's what it is. My brother, my sister, let us be very, very careful. Or else we are going to run aground our nation. Let us be very, very careful. Or else that is the end of our nation. We all were crying that there was doomso, erratic power supply. Now there is power supply and we don't want to pay, including government institutions. GRA was also included, Ghana Revenue Authority. Some hospitals were disconnected. Some that had fresh vaccines that had been begged from Nigeria and the Ivory Coast for our little ones. They disconnected electricity from there and the vaccines will start getting bad. Vaccines that we went to beg for. It's sad what is happening in this nation. If we are not careful, that will be all. Meanwhile, this is a very religious country. People proclaim religiosity, yet they steal electricity. They steal power, they steal water. What's wrong with us? And we believe that God is going to forgive us for being thieves. We got to be careful. My brother, my sister, this is the Black Pot, aka Kukushudomo, where we speak truth to power. And I want to say thank you so much. I appreciate you and I love you. Hey, catch us again every day, Monday to Friday, on your screens and online. Remember, we are live on Pan-African TV, Africa's only Pan-African TV. Live on Loud Silence TV. We are also live on Black Empire TV. Subscribe to our YouTube page. We are called the Black Empire Media. Of course. And every time, we will make sure that we deliver. This is the Black Pot. Our numbers are scrolling on the screen. Pick up the numbers and do business with us. We are ready to hear from you. Tell us how we are also faring. Do you like what we're doing? Do you endorse it? Are you ready to support us? Please, we are not asking you for charity. Just do business with us. And that way, we'll be able to earn legally and justifiably and humbly. Oh my God. And we'll be able to make things happen. This is the Black Pot, a.k.a. Kukushonomo. My name is Blakk RASTA. I love you. Hey!